Those from the left have the instant talking point loaded when it comes to any attack on the right. Just bring up the Tea Party, let the fire grow. But now there comes a thinking process that with all the discourse among Democrats after the midterm elections, what about a Tea Party for the left? And now we have to discuss also the president's legacy. This and plenty more on deck as we welcome back to MidPoint the senior Washington correspondent for Talk Radio News Service. More importantly, still listed on his bio as lead singer of the punk rock band Hogfather. I was going to get that into an introduction sooner or later. Justin Duckham joins us on the show. Justin, thanks for being here.
Hey, great to be here, Ed.
Just as a note, by the way, is Hogfather still playing these days?
No, we have not. We have not played a show in a number of years, but still holding out for a reunion.
Careful, there you go. It's still on your bio. All right, let's go ahead and get down to some serious stuff here. Let's talk about the president's legacy, because it seems to people since the midterm elections, when the Democrats suffered a huge defeat, that basically the president has become unshackled. He is willing to do whatever it takes, wherever it takes, and actually make some very tough decisions in order to move his legacy forward. We are just learning today that according to the Pentagon, U.S. airstrikes have killed several very senior military leaders of ISIS in Iraq. According to this report, 3 key Islamic State military leaders were killed in recent weeks during operations, part of an expanding coalition effort ahead of a planned offensive next year. Justin, I think you know there are people out there, certainly on the right and others, who will say that the president is doing this simply because he wants to make himself seem bigger and puff up his legacy before he leaves. What's your reaction?
I think that's something that really is a fair argument, and I think that's something we're going to be hearing for quite a while. However, whether or not that's going to be the legacy that he really wants to have remains to be seen. He was elected in office as sort of being one of the more dovish candidates. He was certainly riding the back of anti-Iraq war enthusiasm, and he has frequently sort of listed Iraq and Afghanistan as 2 wars that he's wound down as sort of the credentials that he wants to be remembered for once he leaves office. So I think he's trying to sort of straddle a fine line between appearing like a tough leader when it comes to these foreign policy conflicts, but also trying to sort of give an olive branch to those who elected him to sort of take us away from the Bush administration days. So I think it's a pretty fine dance that he has to, carry out right now, and whether or not he's going to be successful, I guess we'll find out in the history books.
What's more important, though, sending that olive branch basically to the right or making sure that the base on the left is happy? Because let's face it, the Republicans are going to be in power now come January in Congress, and the president is the one, whether he likes it or not, please tell me if you agree or disagree with this, who's going to have to help set the tone for the 2016 elections and make sure that people are still happy with the Democrats.
I think, basically the most important thing, of course, is to ensure that he protects the national security of the United States of America. That probably will mean kind of kowtowing more towards the demands that are coming from those on the right, particularly because they control the budget, they control war authorization if there ever is the need to move forward on that. So I think that's probably going to be one of the bigger issues that the president is going to have to deal with moving down the road in this one. And that's again going to be one of the major challenges he's going to be having, especially when he is moving into 2016, and especially if he wants to really set that tone, considering a lot of his legacy is going to be dependent on how that election takes place.
Could he damage the Democrats and their chances for 2016 by doing all this, or are we really just trying to overanalyze this, and in essence, it won't make a difference come another 20 months?
It remains to be seen. I think at this point, a lot of people view his impact on 2016 as being relatively moot. Of course, the big challenge that Hillary Clinton is going to have if she has to run is dividing herself from the Obama administration. She previously has tried doing so by sort of putting herself on the right of his foreign policy initiatives. Recently, however, we've seen a lot of her, sort of supporters pointing out that she is one of the people who were sort of the architects behind the new Cuban policy, pointing out rather that in the end of her latest book, she certainly mentioned that she had advised the president to move down that path. So I think she's going to be setting the tone for what we remember about Obama more, since I think she's going to be talking more about his legacy than the president himself will.
We've seen a lot of changes here, 30 seconds, and we'll take a break, come back and talk about Cuba. But do you see then Hillary Clinton, you brought her into this discussion now, taking what's happened here, what's happened in Cuba, and just pushing herself forward as the hawk, no matter what people say about her?
I think it's probably going to happen no matter what. Now, what Obama lacks is the idea, or the sort of notion that he's competent. A lot of people don't necessarily see that. I think that's one of Hillary Clinton's big appeals. I think he knows that, and I think she's going to play that up. And if that means playing sort of the more hawkish figure, that's certainly a step she's going to take.
Let's face it, you're going to play whatever gets you elected. All right, stand by a couple of minutes here. Justin Duckham returns with more perspective on the left as we spin to the new Cuban deal and how it will help PR hinder the president's outreach to the Hispanic community and how his legacy is still being shaped by that and so much more. Stand by. MidPoint continues right after this. Welcome back to MidPoint, the Washington correspondent for Talk Radio News Service, and the man who in an article years ago referred to George Lucas as an evil, evil man. Something anybody who saw what he did to Star Wars 1, 2, and 3 would agree with. Justin Duckham joins us.
I strongly stand by
that. I guarantee you there are people who are really just going, yeah, Justin, good man, get in there. All right, let's talk about evil and perhaps somebody who wasn't evil but maybe is just doing nothing more than grandstanding. We'll get to the president now and his actions against Cuba. We have heard a lot of anger from people, including the former ambassador to Venezuela, who grew up in Cuba, knows Venezuela inside and out, who said that this was nothing more than grandstanding. It was a bad move, and we could have shoveled the Cuban government out by waiting a few more months. What's the overall consensus now coming in on the president's action?
Well, of course, Democrats are supporting this. This is, largely viewed as a return to sane policy when it comes to Cuba. And, frankly, as much as nice as it would have been to have sort of waited it out, there was some serious concerns that the embargo was harming human rights in Cuba. Human Rights Watch as well as Amnesty International have frequently pointed out that the embargo as it stood was essentially encouraging the Cuban government to be sort of more hardline when it came to punishing dissenters. And now they're frankly not going to have that excuse if they continue down the route that they're on. So
let me ask this, though, Justin. Is it possible, though, that a lot of the Democrats are merely falling in line here because they want to be seen as being supportive of the president at a time when Democrats need to show a joined front here after the midterms?
I think that's probably not as big of a concern right now. I think if there was really an effort to try to show that there's unity in the Democratic Party, we wouldn't be seeing a lot of the situations we've been seeing right now. We wouldn't have been seeing a huge schism between House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi and the White House when it came to moving forward with the Cromnibus. We wouldn't have seen the sort of new emergence of Elizabeth Warren and challenges for her to try to enter the ring. We wouldn't have seen a lot of Democrats essentially mobilizing to the left of the president. And I think if they were really trying to show any kind of party unity, they probably wouldn't be trying to achieve it right now.
So let's look at this then when it comes down to the discussion of a new Tea Party and possibly a Tea Party for the left. Is that a possibility?
I think it absolutely is. If you look at the situation right now, it essentially resembles what we saw in 2008 in the early days of the sort of GOP Tea Party. We saw in the closing days of 2008 Republicans out of power in Congress. More conservative ones did not have a name running that they felt comfortable with in John McCain. There was a president that was essentially a lame duck, even though he was in their party. And that sense of powerlessness essentially sort of gave them a lot of momentum to start something new. And I don't see any reason why that can't happen for Democrats, since they are in essentially the same situation. They've lost control of Congress. A lot of them on the left do not support Obama any longer, and they don't necessarily see Hillary Clinton speaking to them. So I would not be surprised to see them mobilizing and trying to pull off what the Republicans were able to do.
With regard then to the Republicans, 2015, Mitch McConnell says that the Keystone Pipeline is going to be the very first thing that he brings up to the members as soon as the Republicans and everybody takes office in January. About a minute left. What kind of a fight is this going to start?
I think it's already, bound to happen at this point. We've already seen the Democrats sort of roll over the last time that was brought up in a failed attempt to save Mary Landrieu's seat. I think Democrats have sort of lost the ability to fundraise on this issue once Harry Reid made that decision to move forward on it, which is a shame for them, since I believe, with Tom Steyer and a lot of other people willing to open up their coffers in the name of climate change, this probably would have been quite a lucrative issue.
So is it then, could we say, a fait accompli then for the Democrats that they're going to lose this issue?
Oh, I think absolutely, certainly at this point, considering, we have a White House who's not really willing to issue a veto threat on it. We have a Congress who's more than willing to do it in both chambers. I think this is, just frankly bound to happen.
It looks like it's going to be a very long 2015 for the Democrats as well. Justin Duckham, want to thank you very much for taking a couple of minutes to join us. We wish you a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to take a break and come back with some reality into the latest medical news about a blood test being able to detect and perhaps even prevent heart attacks. Let's face it, America is the kind of a country, whether you want to say it or not, we want everything easy, we want it simple, and we want to go ahead and be able to lose 150 pounds just like that and even take care of the heart attack. It just may actually not be that simple, but there might be something around the bend that's going to be sort of simple. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more when we come back. This is MidPoint, where every day we question everything.